last night, we go over to the Eastern Conference, which with the first game of the night, as in the East, the 3rd seed Knicks are now tied with the 6th seed Pistons 1-1. And I remember last week that I think I gave the Pistons 2 games in this series. And Kevin, was it you who just said the Knicks are going to sweep? I feel like I remember someone saying that the Knicks are going to sweep. Yeah. And so it's obviously not happening now.
Hold on, Shaun. I don't mean to cut you off.
Yeah.
There was a guy on this podcast said, hold on, not even just him. I'm coming at Papa Dent too. I'm coming for him. I'm coming for Kevin Dent. The only person who agreed with me in the Dent family was Alex. Now, I don't know if she went to the same extent of saying he's a top 10 guy, but best believe that guy showed out last night. And oh boy, Kevin, don't let the Pistons go up 2-1.
Did he play Friday?
I think they played.
Did Cade also play Friday, or did he only play game 2?
Hold on now. Let me finish.
Same guy you're about to scream from the heavens.
Let me finish. Let's not talk about how he ended the playoff drought that the Pistons haven't won a playoff game since 2008. We're not even gonna get there. Let's just go. First off, what was that? Saturday, I believe Kevin's talking about the game 1 where the Pistons they let the Knicks go on a 21-0. That was the reason why they lost that game. But Kevin, relax. This is their first time they've ever been in the playoffs. This is first. Cade never been there. Asar's never been there. Duran's never been there. Isaiah Stewart's never been there. What about Tim Hardaway Jr. and Tobias Harris? They've been there. What about them? Those role players. Malik Beasley's been there. Hold on now. The core
players game 1. I just want
the core players of the team, the best players on the team, haven't been there. So it took them a little bit of time to this playoff basketball. It's different here, way different atmosphere. Mind you, they're playing in the Garden, where a lot of people are going to come out and say that this is one of the toughest playoff environments to play in, or just basketball environments, atmospheres in sports history. Now, game 1, they blow that game. Not even going to put it out there. And me and Kevin were going back and forth. Kevin was telling me my TV was off. I was a little bit late. I was like, the Pistons are going to win. And Kevin was like, how far behind are you, big dog? Mako got a hold of the remote, paused it. I had no idea. I was behind the whole quarter. So
and Toddy, I will interject real quickly for those who didn't get a chance to watch the game. Knicks won game 1, the one that Toddy was a quarter behind on. Knicks won 123-112, and then last night the Pistons came back and won 194. Toddy, please continue.
But they got their data right. JB Bickerstaff even said, he was like, hey man, basically to paraphrase what he was saying, he was like, hey, we ain't never been here before. We're learning as we go pretty much with this young core that we have. Game 2, Cade comes out playing his ass off. He's like, oh, okay, the little steal that he had, the behind the back. I know you've seen that, Kev. Come on now. All NBA guy right there. That's all NBA. And Papa Dent. I want you to look. Kevin might clip this too. Cade's not talking. I gotta see it. Hey man, I gotta see what we talking about here. That was the main thing that he kept saying about Cade Cunningham. That he's not a top 10 guy. He's not this. He's not that. He's not all NBA. He has to see it. And I was like, I get it. I get where you're coming from. But I tried to tell him I wasn't talking to him face to face. We were on the phone. I was trying to tell him ear to ear, hey, remember what Paulo Banchero did a year and a half or however long it was ago, last year, I believe? This is he's on the exact same trajectory as Paulo Banchero. We saw what Paulo did a couple of days ago. He needs help. We'll get to that later. But I just think Cade is he's launching himself. I don't know if he's going to be on an Anthony Edwards type of campaign, but it's going to be something similar to okay, this guy he's a real player in the NBA. We're going to have to start talking about it. And I do think the Pistons are going to win game 3 at home. It's going to, oh my God, Detroit, that atmosphere? Come on, man. It's going to be something special. I do want to give a shout out to Dennis Schroeder. Dennis Schroeder played his ass off, hit a very clutch 3 in clutch time last night to basically seal the game for them. And yeah, I think the Knicks are going to have to figure out how to integrate their bench, which I don't think that they have. So they kind of just have to just roll with that starting 5 and just kind of layer it to where one guy's going to always be playing at the same time. Cat has to play a little bit better. Jalen Brunson, I think, was kind of foul baiting towards the end. Thibodeau will probably say, well, he already said, oh, Cade Cunningham's getting to the basket and there's marginal contact. It should be the same for Jalen Brunson. It's probably going to get fined for that, but that's neither here nor there. I do think it's going to be tough. Pistons are going to go up 2-1 in the series, so y'all can book that. And if you guys would have bet on the Pistons last night, this is the gambling part that me and Kevin were kind of going back and forth on. If you would have put $100 on the Pistons last night, you'd be up $230.
So, Kevin, all that said, what's your response?
So, Toddy, I knew who was going to come on here with his chest pumped out, screaming from the heavens, Cade Cunningham is the best player in the world. And I asked the simple question, did he only play in game 2? Because I could have sworn this is game 2. That means it was a game 1. And that boy stunk up the bed. And I'm going to let you know, there's the group chat Toddy and I, and I'm not going to exclude any names to the guy who said this, but he said he'd take OG over Cade. And, a lot of guys were saying they would trade Tobias Harris for a box of cookies. And he was there before. Tim Hardaway, Toddy was, Tim Hardaway, second leading scorer. And then you got Michael Beasley, third leading scorer game 1. So it's easy to say.
Malik Beasley.
Bias, Cade went for 30, but it's a 2-game series, Toddy. There's a lot more than just happened yesterday. On the Knicks.
Cat says what have you done for me lately, Lee? That's all I'm gonna say.
I'm just saying, Toddy, you can't come on here sticking your chest out and not talk about game 1.
Okay.
I must have, if the listeners are thinking, damn, did Cade not play game 1? He must have got hurt. Tip off that he must not have played. That's the only reason Toddy's talking about game 2. Cade Cunningham is legit. The Knicks were down this game the whole game. Jalen Brunson couldn't figure it out. Karl Anthony Towns is a trash can with arms and legs.
Kevin, let's respect him more.
Dude, awful. How much money does he make? If you would have told me he was an Eastern Conference starter and he had 10 points in a playoff game.
This is all NBA guy you talking about, Kevin.
He's an Eastern Conference starter. The best of them. That's basically saying he's one of the top 2 big men in the East. And that's what you do. I get it. It's really crazy to think that they gave away 5 first-round picks for Mikal Bridges. 3 of 11.
Gotta bring that. Why are you bringing up old stuff, Kevin?
8 from 18 from the field goal. Because it's all plays into what the Knicks are now. They traded for Mikal Bridges. They made a lateral move to get rid of Julius Randle and Dante DiVincenzo for Karl Anthony Towns to get a couple games better. When you hear Cat and Jalen Brunson, you're thinking there's no way the Pistons have a cold chance in hell. But I tell you what, Toddy, if Asar Thompson fouls out 2 minutes earlier, the Knicks win this game. Because I don't know what it is, but these Thompson twins, generational. They don't got to go out there and score 40. They're keeping their best player in handcuffs. He's guarding Jalen Brunson from the moment they inbound that ball to all the way down to the bottom of the shot clock. They are making plays. Jalen Duren and Cade Cunningham had the most connections on lobs in the NBA. So it goes to show that this is one of the best lob duos in the NBA. When you have guys like Malik Beasley that come in the game and just get shots up. We saw game 1, Cameron Payne came in and lit the Pistons up. This game, Dennis Schroeder came in and lit the Knicks up. So we understand that Cade Cunningham and Jalen Brunson are always going to cancel each other out. Who is going to be that other guy on both teams, respectable teams, to step up and help carry the weight? Yesterday, Jalen Brunson had to do it by himself. And a lot of people want to sit here and say he's foul baiting and all this. It's all cute to say that. That's the NBA, brother. Everybody does it. I'm not going to get into it. We'll get into it later. But a number 0 for Boston sat there and cried and bitched, talking about my wrist. His own coach had to say, get up. He told the trainer, don't go out there. Get up, Jason. Get up. So everyone in the NBA does it. That's how it is.
We get astray.
I'm just saying, brother. You can't. It's easy to have recency bias and say that he foul baits, but it works. So is it foul baiting or people just foul him? But Dennis Schroeder, boy, I tell you. I remember when he got released from the Warriors and they didn't give him a goodbye post, and he was all mad about it. He was like, I don't get a goodbye post, and now look at him. Yeah. Dennis the Menace is going to be able to help take this team to the next level. I think he's playing the role Jaden Ivey played. Playing alongside Cade Cunningham, you have to be able to knock down the 3 ball. You have to be able to get the ball and make plays, because we saw in the last 2-3 minutes, OG looking at Cade's chest the whole time. We don't give a fuck about a backdoor cut. We don't care about none of that. Someone else has to score. And like Toddy mentioned, it was a tie game. 45 seconds left. Dennis Schroeder said, off the screen, they went under. Cash. The Knicks, and I get it. You're going to come on here and say the Knicks don't play their bench. The Knicks don't do this. They haven't done that for 82 games. So I don't know why people are expecting for the bench players to make plays now. Mitchell Robinson coming back into the lineup, I thought was going to give them a different aspect, because Karl Anthony Towns is not a rim protector. And it's apparent. Dudes are going to the rim at will on him because they understand that he's not that. And for him to kind of come out there and do nothing, 5 of 11, 0 for 2, 6 rebounds, 4 fouls, and 10 points. Him and OG Anunoby literally did nothing. And a lot of people want to sit here and poke fun at Josh Hart. Josh Hart, if he gives you 10 points, that's a good game for Josh. OG Anunoby didn't shoot the ball well. And that's what it comes down to. We'll get into it with another team that just had an amazing shooting night. That's the playoff. It's up and down. So if you come out here and you have an amazing shooting night, it's going to give you a chance to win. Do I have any fear as a guy who picked the Knicks to win in 4? No, because I'm going to come on here today and say Cade Cunningham, Malik Cunningham, Reggie Cunningham, 5. We saw the close game, right? Now Cade saying, we're going to see you at the crib. We coming. They're showing Rashad Wallace clips, and they're going. They're good now.
Not the Rasheed Wallace clip.
Wow. So now it's the Pistons are playing with house money. They're a team that won 14 games. They won 14 games alone in March. I get it. It's a nice
win total.
It's cool. They ain't won a playoff game in 15 years. We saw what happened when Cade has a bad night. Is Cade due for another bad night?
They almost still won and Cade had a bad night. That's what I'm saying.
Almost don't mean nothing. Only thing you look at is the box score, L's and wins.
Okay.
So it's easy to sit here and say Cade's this and Cade's that. Let's see how he plays at the crib. We saw
comfortable at the crib.
Game 2, he said, I'm not passing the ball. I'm putting my head down and I'm getting to the cup.
He's gonna be comfortable at the crib.
You didn't look comfortable game 1, so you're telling me every other game he's gonna be comfortable?
He's gonna be comfortable.
That's not looking hot. Every other game, that means the Knicks get the 4 before they do.
Right.
Hey, I'm just a math guy. Don't point the finger at me. But it's going to be a lot to see what Cade Cunningham could do at home. And I was not one of the guys, and I will not be one of the guys saying Cade Cunningham is a top 10 player in the NBA. Because the only reason Toddy says that is because guys like Joel Embiid didn't play. In an all-healthy NBA, he'll tell you, he's not fighting me. In an all-healthy NBA, Cade Cunningham not top 10. And that's fine. Nothing wrong with it. He's doing his thing. Maybe he'll sneak in there on a 3rd team. But I'm not worried about this at all, because the Knicks aren't going to have another bad shooting night. Even when they had multiple chances to tie that game last night, and they just missed them. I don't think you give them that same opportunity, they miss again. I will give you this. The Pistons definitely have the coaching advantage, because everyone thought JB was awful. They said you had Darius Garland, you had Donovan Mitchell,
Coach Derrick Rose,
and Mobley. Hey man, sometimes it just don't work. Give him a place where he can set the foundation and build. Now look at them. They went from 14 to 40-something wins. So I'm still riding with the Knicks, but with all means, it maybe go 6. But at the end of the day, the The Pistons will be going to Cancun.
Clip it.
Well, now joining us is another member of the Den household, none other than Miss Alex Den. How are we doing today, Alex? Thank you for joining us.
We are alive and thriving.
We were just talking about our boy Cade.
Yeah, I was listening. Very interesting take, Kevin James.
Yeah. So what's your response on it, Alex? And after you respond to your brother there, feel free to also talk about the other series that we just discussed, which was the Nuggets and the Clippers afterwards.
Yeah. Okay. So with Cade Cunningham, I had to give him some type of credit because I was his. First of all, let me take a step back. Shout out to Jalen Green and Cade Cunningham.
Oh,
They are thrown in the fire. Their first playoff
don't
debuts.
get me started.
Like,
Kev, we're gonna talk about JG when we get to the Warriors.
Jalen Green.
We're gonna talk about that.
That's 20 points he got.
We gonna talk
No.
about him.
No, but listen, he has to play up against the dynasty, right? And then Cade Cunningham has to go into the basketball mecca of the world. And I think it's just, it looked like they were a little flustered. I'm interested to see how Jalen Green reacts. But with Cade Cunningham, I thought he was very efficient yesterday. I think the Knicks will eventually prevail in this series. I think it's definitely a 7-game series. But I also think the Pistons controlled a lot of these 2 games. And besides the last 8 minutes of the fourth quarter in both games where they just looked awful, like the ball had like molasses or something and they just couldn't grab it for some reason. I'm intrigued to see how home court works in their advantage.